Hey everyone, Astrokit here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. In today's video, we are talking about your dominant planet and what that says about you. And by the end of this video, you will know what your dominant planet is, how to calculate it if you don't know it already, and also what it says about you in terms of your general traits, your characteristics, your strengths and talents, and also your physical appearance and overall disposition slash demeanor. And if you guys like this sort of dominant planet type of video, I have a similar video to this one called your soul planet and what your soul planet is, how to calculate it, and so you guys can check that out too. Your soul planet is usually different than your dominant planet, but it might be the same for you, so you can kind of compare and see like your soul planet versus your dominant planet and how those influence your personality. I will link that video down below, but for now let's calculate your dominant planet, and I'm going to show you guys in the next timestamp through a screen recording how to calculate it on astro.com. Okay, so here's how you calculate your dominant planet. Go to astro.com and then click on create a horoscope. It's going to ask you to enter your birth data like most websites so you can create a birth chart. And so astro.com is the most accurate website to calculate any sort of chart. I know there's like a lot of hearsay and like apps and websites to calculate your chart. And sometimes it can confuse people, but astro.com is the most accurate. And this isn't sponsored, by the way. This is just like a website that's really accurate. So once you calculate your birth data, this is a fake birth chart, just like a random person, random information. It's going to take you to the home page. Click on the right hand corner where it has like those three stripes, and then this drag down menu on here, click on horoscope, drawings, and data. And then under that, click extended chart selection. So extended chart selection is always the place you want to be on the site because it'll just take you to your chart and everything you need to know. So this is the person's chart. This is what you can see on your end when you calculate your own chart. And so click on that fourth tab in the center section where it says pull in astrology, that fourth tab. And then under where it says chart type, click that drag down menu. And the very last option on there where it says simple chart delineation by Walter Pullen, click on that. It's going to take you directly to the data where it shows you the highest percentage of your dominant planet. So you want to scroll down quite a bit. This is a page full of data with interpretations, which you guys can like read on your own. But once it gets to like the numbers part, that's what we want to see. So we can see our dominant planet. And then it shows you a list of, wait, where is it? Yeah, shows you a list of all of the planets. So sun, moon, Mercury, etc. And it shows you like the software calculated data of what the dominant one is. So then you want to go all the way over to the right hand column, the last column, and it shows you the percentages. So this person's chart, 12.7 is the highest percentage, and that happens to be Jupiter. So this person can watch this video for the Jupiter timestamp. However, Uranus is like a close second because it's also 12% for her or them. And so you can watch both timestamps for like if you have two percentages that are really close together. But this is just generally how you can calculate it, and the highest percentage is the dominant planet in your chart. So if you're sun dominant, what that says about you is that you're someone who is naturally righteous, someone who's a leader type, someone who's regal or noble. With the sun energy and that archetype really influencing your personality, generally speaking, you can be someone who people naturally look up to. You can be like a source of light for people. And that's something I feel like can be strong with you, is being a source for people, or just naturally being like a source of energy, a source of protection, a source of inspiration. You naturally kind of give your protection or inspiration to people. There's that strong sense of being a leader, even if it is silently and not so obviously. You're someone who is definitely a leader type. You can be someone who's naturally reliable, naturally dependable. Again, there's that theme of really kind of being an anchor for people. Maybe you kind of hold down your friend group, you hold down your family. You can be naturally protective over people that are younger than you or weaker than you. I feel like that comes to that like righteous vibe about you, where you want to do what's right, do what is naturally just. I feel like with solar energy, solar vibes. You want to kind of follow the law, or kind of have that strong sense of morals or integrity. I feel like sun dominant people, you can have a strong sense of integrity, moral code, and be very honest. Be someone who's wants to communicate an honest image, be honest with people. Solar energy, it's not too like, what's the word, it's not necessarily the most deceptive energy. I feel like solar energy is very truthful, so I feel like you're someone who can be that way with your sun dominant influence. And something else about you that can be prominent is that you can be a high achiever, someone who wants to accomplish a lot of things, someone who wants to be successful. The sun does represent status, represents fame, that theme of prestige. So you can be keen on achieving prestige in your life, achieving a prominent position, achieving fame for some people, achieving some sort of status in your life, or whatever your version of success is. That can be something you're really keen on, something you like doing. You are someone who is goal oriented. And of course that comes with being ambitious, being like a go-getter. I feel like that is strong in your personality. And I don't think we touched on this, but I think you're someone who can be well known, maybe even famous. You can be someone who can be famous within your friend group, or maybe your school, your college, or even just your family. Someone who's well known. People look to you, they know who you are, they know you as a leader. You can just be maybe naturally popular with people. And again, I feel like it goes back to that theme of being a source for people, being a source for your friends, family, etc. People just know who you are. Even if you're not famous, you're just kind of known within your social groups. And so when it comes to your natural talents, your strong suits, what you're naturally good at, I feel like you're someone who is good at just having integrity, being honest, being sort of like that righteous person. We talked about that earlier with a sense of honesty, truthfulness, being strong with solar energy. And so I feel like that is your strength, is like a strong sense of integrity, moral code. People can come to you for advice because you have that strong integrity about you. And also I feel like you're someone who's dependable. People can rely on you. You're not flaky. You can be that really strong anchor. I feel like your natural talent can involve being an anchor for people, an anchor for your social groups, family, like we talked about, and just kind of holding people down in that sense. And something else I feel like that's a strong suit with you is like a sense of purpose. Sun dominance, I feel like you kind of have that feeling within you of like, I need to do something purposeful, I need to do something that matters, I need to protect people, I need to influence people, lead people. I think you have that strong sense of purpose that is really unique with sun dominance. Might not be too prominent in other planetary dominant types, but I feel like with sun dominance, having a sense of purpose is your strong suit as well. Okay, so now let's just touch on the superficial aspect of it really quickly. So with sun dominance, when it comes to your physical appearance, your demeanor, kind of like your disposition and the vibes you give off in social settings, definitely you're someone with a really proud, regal demeanor. You can have a disposition that is sort of royal, regal, noble. I feel like in social situations, you can just naturally stand out in the crowd. People can just point to you and be like, oh, she's over there, oh, he's over there. You're really identifiable, I feel like, and someone who doesn't get too lost in the sauce. Not in an ostentatious way or like obnoxious way, but I just feel like you have a proud, firm presence that people really recognize in terms of your demeanor and disposition. When it comes to physical appearance, this might manifest for some people, not everyone, but sun dominance can give more of a masculine appearance. So kind of like sharper features, broad shoulders. Even if you're a woman, maybe you have like a sharper jawline. And it can give kind of like a warm toned undertone, or like a warm skin tone, golden undertone. Maybe you have like golden colored hair, or like your aura just seems kind of bright or golden. And you might have really good posture as well. I feel like sun dominance, there's that righteousness. So maybe with your body and how you carry yourself, you have like good posture. And something I've personally observed with sun dominant people is that they can have like sharp eyes, or your eyes kind of go upward. Your eyes might not be kind of round or open looking, but kind of sharp looking. And that might go with maybe like a sharp jawline, line or like a square face shape, but that sharpness or angular features can be strong with your physical appearance. And so with that being said, tell us down below what your zodiac sign is, and then if you feel like you relate more to your dominant planet or your zodiac sign, tell us in the comments. And thank you guys for watching this video. Follow me on Instagram, Astrokit, and I'll see you guys in my next one. So if you're moon dominant, what this says about you is that you're someone who's naturally empathetic and nurturing. With moon dominance, it comes with this theme of sensitivity. So you can be someone who's naturally sensitive and receptive to your environment, and your environment can really influence your moods. It can influence how you act and react to things. Speaking of moods, you can be someone who has changing moods quite often. You can be someone who has like a moody personality, or you can easily switch from one temperament to another temperament. There's that kind of like inconsistent energy with moon dominance, and so that can manifest in your behavior, your attitude, or just kind of like your mood overall. And so with this main theme of sensitivity, you're someone who can be really nurturing. You can really be very sympathetic or empathetic. You can understand people's emotions, understand their feelings. You yourself might be on the emotional side where you feel things strongly. You're sensitive to people's moods. You can kind of almost even read people's minds or read their energy really well. You might be kind of intuitive or really intuitive, psychic, clairvoyant, claircognizant. There's that theme of like receptivity and really being sensitive to the energies around you and reading the energies around you, feeling the energies around you, and being very intuitive. And so naturally with moon energy, it is a feminine force. So even if you're a man watching this, or woman, whoever, you can naturally take on that feminine vibe where you are more nurturing, receptive. Basically everything we talked about already is naturally feminine in nature. And also with that theme of femininity, I feel like something about you that can be prominent in terms of your traits is you're someone who is alluring. So you can actually be someone who is enticing to people, alluring. People want to pay attention to you. They might feel attracted to you easily, or you have like a mystery about you that people want to uncover. So that theme of alluringness, femininity, you kind of pull people in with maybe your appearance, your feminine charm. That is a theme here with your personality. Okay, so now let's talk about your strengths and talents based on this moon dominant energy you have. So I feel like your strong suit here is that you're someone who comes across non-judgmental. People can come to you for advice, for a sense of feeling supported, and people might not feel so judged by you, or you have like that vibe where it's not like you are actively judging people. You're empathetic, sympathetic, and people can feel that you can try to understand them, or you're making an effort to understand their feelings. And you naturally might have like that nurturing aura or that nurturing vibe where people really feel comfortable with you. You can make other people feel comfortable. I feel like that's a strength you have. And of course, the more obvious strength or talent is your intuitive abilities, being able to tap into the energies around you, feel your own intuition, have intuitive leads, follow your intuitive ideas. I feel like that's a strong suit of yours as well. So for the more superficial part of this explanation, when it comes to moon dominance and your disposition, your demeanor, and even your physical appearance, you're someone who can come across kind of motherly, maybe very feminine too when it comes to your disposition or your demeanor. With that feminine energy in social situations, you might even seem a little bit shy or passive. So not necessarily being the one to put yourself out there, make the first move, or be super bold or brash. You might be more cautious or more observant. I feel like you're someone who's more on the observant side when it comes to like social situations and how you kind of give off a certain vibe. It's not so aggressive, but it can be more passive or shy. And so when it comes to your physical appearance, now this might not manifest for every single person, but generally speaking, moon dominance can give more like fuller appearance or roundish features, roundish eyes. You can have like a full chest, big boobs, so to speak. You might be a little bit curvy, so even if you're a man or woman, you might just kind of have fuller features or rounder features, kind of like a fleshy appearance. overall. So with that being said, tell us down below your zodiac sign and whether or not you relate more to your zodiac sign or your dominant planet. Is there any connection between those two things? Tell us in the comments. So thank you guys for watching this video, and follow me on Instagram, Astrokit, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So if you're Mercury dominant, then what this says about you is that you're somebody who is intelligent, witty, and humorous. You're definitely a clever person with a lot of wit about you. I feel like you have a lot of like dexterity and kind of like craftiness, where you could be good at a lot of different things. Great at communication, writing, speaking. You can have like little niche hobbies that you do. A lot of you guys might even be good with your hands. But to kind of stick with the general traits and personality, I feel like you have a lot of social intelligence, just general intelligence, and you know a lot about a lot of different topics. You have like a wide knowledge base that you can just pull from very easily, and you're somebody that can be quite friendly, quite sociable. Maybe you're great at social dynamics and social situations, since you know so much and you can probably speak well and communicate well. I feel like you're great at having conversations with people and talking to a lot of different people from different backgrounds, and being skilled with like that social dexterity as well as like mental dexterity as well. Of course, I feel like you're somebody who is funny, somebody who is humorous. You know how to lighten up the mood or make a joke, say things that are really witty and clever. I feel like you might have the kind of humor that might sometimes go over people's heads, or you say things that are like sarcastic, or just kind of have that humor that it's kind of diverse in a sense, where you can joke about different topics but then be serious, or be sarcastic then be witty. There's a lot of kind of range with your humor, but generally speaking, I do think you're a funny person or a humorous person, especially in social dynamics. And that brings us to your talents and your strengths. So I feel like your strong suit with Mercury dominance is that you are like the magician archetype. You can kind of create something out of nothing. You can create and manifest situations to work in your favor. You can be really persuasive. You can be someone who's kind of good with like speaking with people and getting them to agree with you, or getting your way in certain social dynamics. So that kind of like trickster energy, magician archetype is strong with Mercury, and I feel like we can see that in your strengths, is that you're good maybe at tricking people. It doesn't have to be malicious, but persuading people, kind of creating situations just in general to work in your favor, and being really smart about how you achieve your goals. I feel like you're that person that's like work smarter, not harder. And so another talent that comes with that, and a strength of yours I feel like you have, is craftiness. And we kind of touched on that earlier, but just being great at a lot of different things, knowing how to create art or music, or write well, or edit videos, or have a lot of different niche things that you do that you're really, really good at. I think you can be the most skilled when you kind of niche down and do a really specific thing and really excel at that. And that brings us into your physical appearance / demeanor and disposition based on your Mercury dominance, and how people perceive you in social situations or their first impression of you. So I feel like with the vibe you give off and your energy, it can be somewhat fidgety, it can be a little bit antsy, where you're someone who doesn't necessarily sit still, or I feel like in social situations you're like chatting with someone, you're doing something. You're not the most stoic person. Maybe you're making jokes or doing things with your hands. I feel like you can be someone who talks with their hands a lot, or makes a lot of hand motions, body motions. Not really a sense of stillness there. And something else about your disposition is that you can be somewhat flighty or somewhat quick-paced with how you operate or behave, where you're doing one thing then the next thing, talking about one thing, doing the next thing, and maybe not necessarily being super grounded or stuck or present in the moment, but kind of moving around, doing different things can be how you approach certain social situations and how people perceive your vibe. And so when it comes to your physical appearance, now not everyone may relate to this, but generally speaking, with Mercury dominance, you can have sort of like a youthful appearance, maybe like an adorable appearance. People can perceive you or call you cutesy or cute. Kind of like that youthful childishness can be present in your physical appearance with Mercury energy. And physically speaking, you can be petite, small, or slender. So with that being said, tell us down below your zodiac sign. And how does it compare to your dominant planet, which is Mercury? Do you feel more close to your zodiac sign or your dominant planet? Tell us in the comments. And thank you guys for watching this video. Follow me on Instagram at Astrokit, and I'll see you guys in my next one. So if you're Venus dominant, then what this says about you is that you're somebody who is harmonious, balanced, and diplomatic. You're somebody who people would describe as refined or classy. So you might have that way about you that is kind of luxurious, that is refined, maybe like that feminine energy that is perceived as very beautiful or balanced. And speaking of luxury, you're somebody who might be focused on the luxuries of life, the pleasures of life, focused on art, on music, on anything you can indulge in, like food, for example. You might place a lot of energy on those things, and in your personality, you can be a naturally artistic person, someone who is luxurious, so to speak, someone who is literally wealthy even, and you approach life with that sense of like wanting to indulge your senses, wanting the best of everything, wanting to have beautiful surroundings, wanting to feel beautiful. There is that strong theme of beauty with Venus, as you can imagine, and creating beauty, creating harmonious circumstances. And in your personality, you kind of have that pleasantness about you that can be perceived as beautiful. And in your personality, you can be that person who is perceived as naturally charming, naturally socially graceful. Someone who maintains the harmony around them, maintains the beauty around them. People perceive you in a really pleasant way since you have like that kind of harmonious disposition. And people can even describe you as charismatic as well. And so that brings us to your natural strengths and talents. So I feel like a strong suit of yours as a Venus dominant person is that you're very diplomatic. You're great at seeing both sides of things. You're great at observing what the harmony level is, how to create harmony if things are unbalanced. I feel like you have a very fair-minded approach to life. And the sense of diplomacy, the sense of being able to bring people together, bring a sense of mediation to social dynamics is a really strong talent you have. And also something I feel like you're good at is, of course, you have great taste. I feel like that sense of luxury is so strong with Venus people, and you have a good eye for fashion. Maybe you have a good eye for art. Maybe you're somebody who is artistic naturally. You're good at music, good at fashion, good at food. Maybe you know how to pick a great restaurant. But either way, anything to deal with fine arts or luxury or indulgence, I feel like you have a good taste in those things. So for the superficial aspect of Venus dominance, when it comes to how that manifests in your physical appearance, in your demeanor, in your disposition, and how people perceive you upon first impression, I feel like you're somebody who has a very pleasant demeanor, somebody who has kind of disposition that is approachable, and so people might feel comfortable approaching you, being around you. You can be someone who is naturally socially graceful, like we talked about, and people want to be around that. People want to be around the person who's creating harmony and a pleasant vibe at the social function or situation you're in. And so when it comes to your physical appearance, now not everyone might relate to this, but generally speaking, Venus does give beauty. So you're somebody who might be naturally beautiful, naturally have facial symmetry. You might have fuller lips or higher cheekbones. You can have naturally dark hair or thick hair. And your skin tone or kind of undertone can be kind of neutral or olive. And Venus can also give a curvy body, so like wide hips or curvy hips, a butt, so to speak, maybe a full chest if you're a woman. But either way, it can give curviness, and it can also give height. So if you're a man, it can give you height in the sense that you're like over 6 foot. Maybe you're a tall woman. It doesn't always give tallness, but it can. So height, curviness, beauty are strong things with Venus dominance. And with that being said, comment down below your zodiac sign. And do you relate more to your zodiac sign or to your dominant planet, which is Venus. How do those two things compare for you? Tell us down below. Thank you guys for watching this video, and follow me on Instagram at Astrokit, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So if you're Mars dominant, then what this says about you is that you're someone that is bold, assertive, and independent. With this Mars energy, you might be someone who's like a natural go-getter, someone who's ambitious, you want to achieve things, you want to go after what you want. There is that theme of impulsivity, so you can be someone who is impulsive and likes to go after their goals in a very quick manner or fast-paced manner. You might not have a lot of patience, but you do have a lot of energy and boldness about you. You're also someone that's really capable and driven. I feel like you have a strong sense of willpower where you don't really want to quit too easily, or you want to do things by yourself. You want to do things with an independent spirit. You're someone with strong drive. You have willpower about you. You want to achieve things and do it in an independent way. Mars is a very solitary energy, so you can be someone who is social, but you do like to achieve things at your own pace. Maybe you can be a little bit impatient, so you want to achieve things when you want them. You don't want to wait around for other people. So that independent spirit is really strong with you and contributes to a lot of willpower within you. I think you're someone who's also very competent. I feel like you can get things done by yourself. You don't need help. It's not like you are needy. I feel like you're really self-sufficient. I feel like that's a good word to describe you. And speaking of self-sufficient, you can also be athletic. You can be competitive. Maybe you like to win things. You like to come in first place. You can kind of have that athlete mentality, even if you're not a literal athlete. So you have that mentality that is like very winner oriented, competitive, combative. And also when it comes to mentality, I feel like something that doesn't get talked about too much with Mars dominance and Mars energy is logic. I feel like you're someone who is logical. And logical, maybe not in like the Mercury sense, but logical in the sense of being really decisive, being able to see things for what they are and choose quickly. It's not like you might hesitate too much or you linger too much, but you kind of have that mental balance sheet in your mind, and then you choose something in a decisive way. So I feel like you can be logical in that sense, and really great at choosing things in a bold, decisive manner. That brings us into your strengths and talents. So I feel like your strong suit with this Mars dominance that you have is that you're somebody that won't back down. You're someone who's not going to submit easily, somebody who won't quit easily. If you're faced with opposition, challenges, enemies, you're not going to back down. So I feel like that's a strong trait of yours, a strong strength, talent. You're really headstrong and resilient. And I feel like that goes hand in hand with the other thing that I have for you, which is bravery. So I feel like that's a skill of yours, something you're good at, is just being brave, courageous, doing things without thinking, just jumping in head first. And of course, not backing down, I feel like is your natural talent based on your Mars dominance. So that brings us to the more superficial aspect of Mars dominance and how it manifests in your demeanor, in your disposition, and kind of like the vibe you give off, and also your physical appearance too. So when it comes to your demeanor, I feel like you're someone with a very maybe intimidating demeanor, but not too standoffish, not too unapproachable. I just feel like you have a demeanor that people kind of respect. They kind of sense that energy about you that can be independent or bold, and people really respect boldness. So I feel like you naturally gain respect from people or admiration, and it can lean towards like a intimidating demeanor, but I feel like it's more of like a firm or respectable demeanor disposition, especially in social settings. And when it comes to like your physical appearance, now not everyone will relate to this, but for some people you might have a very athletic body. Even if you don't work out, you can have a lean body, a frail body, well, not really frail, but lean, kind of toned sort of body, especially if you have Mars in the first, Mars conjunct your ascendant. That leanness, tonedness might be strong. Even if you don't work out, you can kind of have that body type. And Mars can also give kind of sharp features too, so you can have like a sharp jawline, sharp eyebrow shape where they're kind of like angular and have sort of like a squarish head shape, squarish shoulders, squarish body type. If you're a woman especially, you might have like squarish like a torso that's kind of squarish, or like hips, but either way there might be kind of like that toned stockiness, maybe muscular theme with your body type. That being said, tell us down below your zodiac sign, and do you relate more to your zodiac sign, or do you relate to your dominant planet Mars? How do those two things compare for you? And let us know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching this video. Follow me on Instagram at Astrokit, and I'll see you guys in my next video. If you're Jupiter dominant, then what this says about you is that you're someone who's naturally upbeat, someone who's optimistic and jovial, someone who's like naturally happy, like a happy personality, someone who sees the bright side of things. I feel like you're that person who is very hopeful, and you give a lot of hope to people around you. People look to you for someone who can support them, someone who can make them feel better, someone who can make them laugh. You have that really positive influence on people, and positive influence and energy in how you express your personality. And something obvious I feel like about Jupiter dominant people is intelligence. You're someone who is very smart, very philosophical. I feel like you have that intelligence that's very worldly, where you might know a lot about different cultures, different languages. You might be bilingual or know many different languages, but you have that sense of worldly knowledge about you, which makes you a great person to give advice to people. And like I said, you can be that person people come to for advice, or come to for a sense of hope or optimism. And your nature might be very philosophical, where you have a certain philosophy on life, you have a certain moral code on life. As a Jupiter person, I feel like you have a strong sense of righteousness, and a sense of what is right, what is just, a sense of right and wrong, and you really follow your own moral code. You might follow a really strong sense of ethics. I feel like you're someone who is very ethical, very philosophical, and just generally speaking very righteous. And another hallmark with Jupiter people is that I feel like you're someone who is generous. So I feel like you give support to people, you give advice to people, you give happiness to people, you're that sense of joy to people, and you're really generous with people. You don't mind helping them in any way, maybe financially, or just giving your ear to people, giving your shoulder to cry on, giving your energy to people. I feel like you're that kind of supportive person to people around you, that person who is very generous with physical items, but also just with your energy and your vibe overall. So that brings us into your strengths and your talents. So I feel like your strong suit as a Jupiter dominant person is that you're someone that is very honest, someone that can really deliver the truth to people, and I feel like you don't really have a motivation to lie to people. I feel like you give them a strong sense of hope and honesty without being blunt or rude. I feel like you have a certain gift of giving people the truth and being honest with them without being too mean about it, or being too blunt in a way that hurts their feelings. I feel like you have great social grace, where you can kind of navigate that kind of difficult dynamic of telling people what they need to hear, but not being too authoritative or brash about it. Another one of your strengths slash talents is that you're really supportive. I feel like you're someone who's really helpful. You don't mind helping people, supporting them. We talked a little bit about that earlier, but generosity is strong here, and I feel like you're just naturally a supportive person. You genuinely just want to help people, support them, and just be a good friend to other people. Okay, so now let's talk about the superficial aspect of Jupiter dominance and how this might manifest in your physical appearance, in your demeanor, in your disposition, and kind of like that vibe you give off in social settings, like the first impression people see of you. When it comes to your demeanor, I feel like you have a very jovial demeanor, a very upbeat demeanor, very happy. I feel like you're someone people can just look at and talk to for even a short amount of time and genuinely just feel uplifted for some reason, feel hopeful. You can have a very friendly demeanor, friendly disposition, easy to talk to, easy to approach. And in terms of your physical appearance, now this might not manifest for every single Jupiter dominant person, but generally speaking, you guys might have big eyes, or eyes that are very friendly looking. Maybe you have eyes that are a different color. Not always, but that can be common here. You can have a big smile, a bright smile, a really noticeable smile. And a lot of you guys might even have dimples as well. And in terms of body type, you can be taller than average. That's really common here, especially if you have Jupiter in your first house or conjunct your ascendant. But if not, it can also give a body type that is stocky or shorter than average, that is kind of squarish shaped. And Jupiter, sort of like the moon, can give kind of roundish features where they're not completely sharp or angular, but more curved, or you might have a natural curvature to your body, maybe your face, but it might not give you super jagged or like a jagged appearance overall. So that softness can be present here with Jupiter dominance. So with that being said, tell us down below your zodiac sign, and do you relate more to like your zodiac sign energy or your Jupiter dominance? Tell us in the comments. And thank you guys for watching this video. Follow me on Instagram, Astrokit, and I'll see you guys in my next one. So if you're Saturn dominant, then what this says about you is that you're somebody who is logical, responsible, and reserved. You're somebody who might naturally have a lot of high standards, a lot of rigid goals and standards that you set for yourself and other people. And so that can create someone who is very logical. I feel like you're someone who's realistic. You're great at seeing like the long-term vision for yourself, long-term plan, and you can be constantly kind of thinking in a logical manner, in a manner that is very practical and realistic. And you're somebody that can be a rule follower, where you like to follow your own set of rules. Maybe you follow your own moral code or your own boundaries. There's that sense of strictness as well, so maybe you have a lot of strictness or discipline with whatever your plan is, with whatever your rules are. Maybe you don't like to deviate too far from things or from your plan, but really stick firmly to that, be rigid within that, and really stick to your plan in a disciplined way, and just be a naturally kind of strict person. And you're somebody that is hardworking, somebody who can even be like an overachiever, someone who overworks himself. There is that theme of hard work here in your personality, and being someone who kind of repeats things or does things over again until you get the best results or the best outcome. That brings us into your strengths and your talents. So when it comes to your strong suit with Saturn dominance, I feel like you're so great at responding to situations, reacting to situations in a logical manner. You have that kind of stoicness or seriousness or sense of logic, even in situations that are chaotic or challenging or turbulent, where a lot of people would just react in a way that is emotional, in a way that is extreme or mad or happy or angrily. But with you, I feel like you have a kind of talent for reacting in a way that is logical, that makes sense, and kind of facing obstacles with a sense of maturity. I think that's a good word. Being really mature and logical in extreme situations. And something else I feel like you're good at is planning and executing long-term goals. Now, I feel like that one is more obvious, but I think you're great at seeing the vision for something, planning out practical steps, and actually achieving that from start to finish, even if it takes a long time. So patience and maturity are two things I feel like you do well with, and that's kind of like your natural talent with your Saturn dominance. And when it comes to the more like superficial aspect of Saturn dominance and how it manifests in your physical appearance and even in your demeanor and your disposition and how people perceive you in first impression, I feel like you're someone with a really refined demeanor, with a really kind of classy demeanor. When I think of like Saturn dominant people, I think of like that kind of old Hollywood kind of aesthetic or demeanor disposition, where you seem really refined, you seem ladylike, you seem like you have manners. And when I say classic Hollywood, I don't mean like the glamorous kind of aspect of it, but kind of like that traditional sort of act like a lady energy or act like a man energy, where you express yourself in like that traditional kind of pleasant, refined manner. And you're someone who can have like a serious demeanor, a stoic demeanor, a demeanor that is serious or firm, not too emotionally expressive, but just naturally serious. People can even be intimidated by you or kind of feel scared of you, or not feel like they can approach you. So there can be that like unapproachable energy, RBF energy with Saturn dominance. But generally speaking, I feel like you have a very stoic or like refined disposition, especially in social situations. And in terms of physical appearance, now not everyone might relate to this kind of physical appearance, but generally speaking, Saturn can give thinness, it can give frailness with your body. You can be taller than average or kind of lanky looking even if you're short. It can also give a very mature look to someone. So you can have a look with your face or just like your demeanor that looks older, or even if you're a young person, you can look older, more mature, more refined. And in your face, you might have like an older looking face, which isn't like a bad thing, but you could just have more mature looking features like high cheekbones or a very long or thin face shape. So with that being said, tell us down below your zodiac sign and whether or not you relate more to your dominant planet, Saturn, or do you relate to your zodiac sign? Tell us in the comments. And thank you guys for watching this video. Follow me on Instagram, Astrokit, and I'll see you guys in my next one. So if you're Neptune dominant, then what this says about you is that you're someone who is spiritual, mystical, and otherworldly. So generally speaking, Neptune is one of the most spiritual planets, and you yourself can probably attest to that, of being someone who is spiritual, really in tune with the forces around you, the energy around you. You can be extremely intuitive, and for some people even psychic. So that strong theme of spirituality can be strong in your personality and in your daily life, how you operate. Someone who is spiritual overall. And something I feel like that is strong with Neptune is malleability. You're someone that can change and kind of blur the lines of reality, where you manipulate your reality or you manifest things easily. There's that kind of theme with you maybe of not seeing things as concretely as the most logical person in the world or the most like Saturn dominant person in the world. I feel like you more than anyone can blur the lines of reality, blur the lines of what people think is real, and kind of bend the truth, bend kind of really anything. There is that theme of shape-shifting with Neptune, so I feel like you're naturally kind of like a shapeshifter sort of person, and that brings us to the theme of like fluidity. Maybe you have a very fluid sexuality, fluid physical appearance, fluid gender. The theme of fluidity can be really strong in your personality, not just physically, but maybe how you speak, how you act, how you present yourself. It's not too strict or concrete. There is that theme of blurring the lines and being really fluid, just generally speaking. And speaking of fluidity, I feel like you're someone who's also creative and imaginative. There's no limits really with what you can imagine, what you can create. And so that brings us into your natural strengths and talents. So based on your Neptune dominance, I feel like something that's your strong suit is definitely your imagination. Being so creative, being so imaginative, being able to create things that people kind of can be shocked by, because it's like most people aren't thinking that much outside of the box. But for you, I feel like there is no box, there is no limit, there is no structure really. There's that theme of kind of blurriness, right, with Neptune like we talked about. So I feel like that's really great for your creativity, your imagination. Maybe you make great clothes, music. You can have really elaborate fantasies that could probably be made into like a movie or like a book. It really is so generous, this kind of talent you have of imagination and creativity. And another talent I feel like you have as a Neptune person is definitely that you're really alluring. You're really mystical, magical. There's something about you that is so enticing, almost naturally. You don't have to try too much, especially if you have like Neptune in the first house, Neptune conjunct your ascendant, where people just feel enticed by you, hypnotized by you. You're naturally alluring. And that brings us into your physical appearance. And so how this Neptune dominance can manifest in your physical appearance / demeanor or disposition, especially in social settings, is that you can be someone who kind of has like a passive demeanor, or like a demeanor where it's like people notice you, but then it's sort of, I think the word is elusive. So I feel like your disposition, your demeanor can be elusive, can be kind of mystical, kind of otherworldly. I feel like if otherworldly was a person, it would be a Neptune dominant person. And so when it comes to your physical appearance, now this might manifest for some people, not everyone, but A lot of you guys might have like green eyes, blue eyes, some sort of eye color that isn't too common, and your eyes might look very dreamlike. They can be very dreamy looking, very alluring. I feel like you're someone that can look almost unreal. It's like you look kind of like a cartoon or like an anime, not in a bad way, but like someone who just looks very otherworldly, not like the most common person you've ever seen. And you just seem sort of unreal. I feel like that's strong with you as a Neptune person. So something else with your appearance that can be prominent is you can look feminine. You can look soft or not really have super sharp looking features. And even if you do, it's like you have a natural like filter on or something. It's kind of soft looking. It's feminine looking. Even if you're a man, it's not super harsh, or there's not like a lot of sharpness going on. There might not be so much ruggedness, so to speak, but more so softness with your demeanor and physical appearance. And I will say you guys might be a little bit more passive in social situations, not too aggressive or bold with your actions, but kind of being more seductive, alluring, kind of being that person in the background, but still being quite noticeable and otherworldly. So with that being said, tell us down below your zodiac sign and whether or not you relate more to your zodiac sign, your big three, or to your dominant planet, which is Neptune. Tell us in the comments, and thank you guys for watching this video. Follow me on Instagram at Astrokit, and I'll see you guys in my next one. So if you're Uranus dominant, then what this says about you is that you're someone who's naturally spontaneous and unpredictable. There's something about you that can seem kind of strange or otherworldly, and I don't really mean that in a bad way, but something about your personality can just seem out of the norm. It can seem rebellious to some people. It can seem just not naturally normal or average as most people would perceive you as, or perceive other people to be. You're someone who can naturally just seem quite interesting. Someone who has a lot of interesting things to say, kind of unexpected things to say. And that's another thing with Uranus people. I feel like you can be kind of unpredictable, but just you never really know with Uranus people. It's like these things come out of your mouth, or ideas, or just the way you express yourself can be so unexpected, and people can pick up on that and just really discover you as someone who's truly interesting, intriguing, and kind of otherworldly. And you're someone who can be blunt or forceful, and not really in an aggressive way, but I feel like you can be just quite honest, straightforward, direct. I feel like that theme of spontaneity is strong with you, and so it's like, what are you gonna say next? What are you gonna do next? And when you do things and say things, I feel like it's very direct and clear. It's not too indirect or passive. I feel like that theme of bluntness can be strong with you, with how you speak, how you act, and just being direct or forceful in social situations. And so that brings us to your talents and your strengths and what your natural strong suit is based on this Uranus dominant energy. And so I feel like your talent and what you can be really good at is that you're someone that is futuristic, someone that can predict trends. Maybe you start trends. I feel like you're someone that can be ahead of your time, so to speak. You know things before they happen. Maybe you just predict things before they happen. You can be sort of like a trendsetter. And due to that ability to be so futuristic, I feel like you're great at adapting to circumstances, adapting to change. And most of the times I feel like you guys can be the facilitators of change, create change in your environment, create change in other people, almost like unknowingly. You're like this kind of like walking electric force that can kind of change the energy of a room, change the energy around you, change your life, and it's kind of unexpected. It's definitely something I feel like you're good at, even if you don't know it yet, is just being able to change your circumstances, change the energy around you, and just be kind of futuristic in your own right. And another talent or strong suit I feel like you have, and we kind of touched on it earlier with that theme of being interesting, and I feel like that is something you can be good at, or just like a talent of yours, is being extremely intriguing, being someone that people didn't see coming, being someone with interesting facts or knowledge. I think you're just genuinely an interesting person, and that's your talent. And so that brings us into the more superficial aspect of Uranus dominance and how that manifests in your physical appearance, your demeanor, and your disposition in social settings, and like the vibe you give off. So I feel like you're someone who can have more of a serious demeanor, or a demeanor that is, again, really unpredictable. Maybe you have kind of sharp or really direct movements. I would describe it as maybe someone who's a little bit jittery, but I feel like your default demeanor isn't too jittery. I feel like you can be stoic or really serious looking or kind of stiff, but then you can do something unexpected with your body. Like maybe you have sharp movements or you move your hands a lot. There is that kind of unexpectedness. So I feel like even though you are stoic or kind of serious or firm in your demeanor, you might have unexpected bodily movements. And when it comes to your physical appearance, I feel like a hallmark of Uranus people, Uranus dominance, and especially like Uranus in the first house or something like that, you can have like these icy blue eyes. And even if they're not blue, they can just be kind of icy looking, like icy green, icy gray, icy, what are the other colors? Maybe like hazel or something like that. But your eye color can be shocking, where it's not like the normal brown or normal color, but it can be like that shocking blue, shocking green, etc. And also something about your eyes I've observed with Uranus people is that they can be really deep set. So they might not be eyes that are just normally like laying flat or protruding. They can be really deep set in to your skull and have that really sharp, intense look about you, sharp, intense eyes, and even like a sharp, intense, shocking eye color. And this one's more obvious, but I feel like you're someone that can be very long looking or lanky. Even if you're on the shorter side of things, you can kind of have like long limbs or long frail arms, legs. Your body type can look kind of frail or lanky even if you're not necessarily tall. But I've noticed this can make someone quite tall, over 6 foot. If you're a woman, maybe you're tall for a woman, but I think Uranus tends to iron people out a bit or make them lanky looking. And one thing I've observed about Uranus people, and this is kind of like my observation, so you guys can confirm in the comments if this is true for you, but I've seen them to have like very long necks, like longer than average. And it's kind of not noticeable at first, but if you stare at someone long enough, you can kind of see how long their neck is. And I feel like Uranus people have long necks. So you guys can tell me in the comments if you have a long neck, but I think I've noticed that with Uranus people specifically. And so with that being said, comment down below your zodiac sign and whether or not you relate to like your dominant planet more, Uranus, or your zodiac sign, or your big three. Tell us in the comments. And you guys can follow me on Instagram, Astrokit. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. So if you're Pluto dominant, then what that says about you is that you're someone that is mysterious and intense. You're someone who might naturally contemplate the darker topics of life. You might be into the occult, into astrology. Really digging and thinking beneath the surface can be a huge theme with you. And you can have that really piercing personality where you want to pierce the veil of superficial things, you want to think deeply, you want to uncover secrets, and Plutonic energy can be so extreme, and you could probably feel that in your personality, in your emotions, that theme of extremeness, extreme emotions, extreme thoughts, extreme circumstances. I feel like you're someone who can experience a lot of extremes in life. You can go from one circumstance to another that's completely different, and a lot of times it can involve destruction. It can involve the theme of life or death sort of situation. So granted that you can be someone who is familiar with that feeling of turbulence. So your personality can express sort of extremeness, turbulence. Maybe you have extreme highs where you feel really great and you express that, or you have extreme lows and you express that as well. So the kind of extreme nature of Pluto can manifest in how you act, behave, and speak, where it can be kind of extreme. Sometimes you can feel really hidden, really exposed, really vulnerable. So as you can imagine, that can be really strong in your characteristics overall. Something else you might feel with your personality is pessimism. You can feel sometimes that the dark energies, or kind of like this darkness, kind of weighs on you, or there's like that burden energy, and you might have trouble sometimes seeing the brighter side of things or optimistic side of things. And not to say that every Pluto dominant person is pessimistic, but you can struggle with that perspective or that feeling of pessimism at times. Okay, so now let's talk about your strengths and talents. So with Pluto dominance, I feel like a strong suit of yours is that you're someone who is so resilient. You can be someone who's like literally been to hell and back, metaphorically speaking, where you experience tumultuous situations, extreme situations, life or death situations, maybe even really traumatic things in your life. But with you, I feel like it creates a resilient person that's almost like bulletproof. At a certain point, things might not faze you as strongly because you've been through so much, and once you've been through so much, I feel like it creates a really strong person. So resilience is something I feel like is your strong suit. Another strength I feel like you have is definitely someone who is very deep thinking, and we kind of touched on that earlier, but you have that ability to really obsess over something and research into it and really discover the truth of something, get down to the root of the matter. And I think that's a really strong skill you have. That brings us to the more like superficial aspect of Pluto dominance and how that manifests in your physical appearance and your demeanor and sort of like your disposition and the vibe you give off to people. And so I feel like you're someone that when it comes to disposition and demeanor, especially in social situations, I feel like you're someone that can cause really extreme reactions in people, and people can meet you or be around you for even a short amount of time and they feel something strongly towards you, whether it's love, whether it's hate, whether it's lust. They can just feel really strongly towards you, and you can kind of cause these really almost knee-jerk or extreme reactions in people without really trying. So your presence is quite strong. It is quite influential in the sense of you walking in somewhere and then you just change the energy of that room. You change the tempo of that room without really even saying anything a lot of the times. And so given that, a lot of people might perceive you as intimidating, someone who's kind of scary, someone who's kind of mysterious, dark, intense. It's not super like kind of like upbeat energy, but it's kind of like really dark, firm, and mysterious. So people can be intimidated by that or feel kind of off-put by that. Again, there's that theme of extreme reactions you can cause in people. So when it comes to your physical appearance, now not every Pluto dominant person will relate to this, but generally speaking, you can have RBF, so a really serious looking face, a face that can look kind of intimidating, a demeanor that's kind of intimidating. You can have a really intense stare. I feel like that's a really obvious one with Pluto dominance, is really strong looking eyes, intense eyes. Maybe your eyes are dark, but I have noticed it can give like icy blue eyes or kind of like a unique eye color as well. I haven't really seen like a really common eye color with every Pluto dominant person, but they can be kind of dark even if they're light colored, in the sense that they look really intense looking. And some of you guys might have really thick eyebrows, really bushy eyebrows, or you might have no eyebrows at all. So that extreme theme I see sometimes manifest in Pluto dominant people's appearance is where it's like you have no eyebrows, maybe you're born without eyebrows or really light colored eyebrows, and then you can have either bushy eyebrows. So maybe one of those two things, but you can have really pronounced eyebrows, whether they're kind of bald or if they're really bushy too. So now that we know about Pluto dominance, tell us down below what your zodiac sign is and whether or not you relate more to your zodiac sign, your dominant planet, which is Pluto. Tell us in the comments. And thank you guys for watching this video. Follow me on Instagram, Astrokit, and I'll see you guys in my next one.